Well, the right approach, it's definitely the right approach for me in the sense that they were very hands-on, very personal. They talked to me, they went through every problem. They were very specific with what I needed to do in order to improve, whether it was testing or whether it was things for college or an AP class. They helped me with every single problem that I needed, and they helped me excel. One of the very first things that I noticed about the Right Approach staff was just how nice they were.
Yeah.
Which is not. I went to Mathnasium a couple times in different places, and I never got the same level of treatment and respect and openness that I've got from these teachers, including I worked specifically with Jamie and Jimena, and they were just incredibly lively. They made jokes. They talked to me about my day when we would get in there, and it was almost like being taught by a friend. And so whether it was something I was struggling in, like math with Jamie, she would go through each problem and she would work it out, but then she would explain it in such a way in which I could understand it, and we would have silly examples. And Jimena, when I would do English and she would go through my essays, and she really helped me understand what kind of writer I am, and how to read things in a quick amount of time while understanding most of it. And so they really helped me grasp these concepts in a kind and nurturing environment. In school specifically, the teacher teaches, and you are expected to retain that information in any way you can. A lot of people just listen, a lot of people take notes. I take horribly scribbled notes, and I look back at my notes, and I have no idea what I wrote, and I can't remember what the teacher said. At the Right Approach, they have this grid Cornell style, with this visual note-taking, in which the teachers will go through the notes with you. And you can ask questions, and they'll give you concrete examples. And at the end of the day, you have something clear and outlined and substantial that you can look back on, and you can remember, and you can review before you have an actual SAT test or an AP test. And that really helped me specifically, because I'm not the greatest note taker. And so having that personalized attention and that help and that specific detail was really great, and I loved how the Right Approach approached that. It was amazing in the improvement scale. When I first took my first PSAT, I scored a 158, which is the equivalent of like a 1600 on the SAT. And then I took a practice test, I got a 1700. And so I came to the Right Approach to try to improve my score. And over time, I took more practice tests. I got like a 1900, and then I took an actual test. I scored a bit over 2000, and then I practiced again, and then my final score, I got a 2200, or a bit above a 2200. And just working with them and just pounding and pounding and pounding at these questions and problems really helped me improve my score substantially. The Right Approach gave me a lot of time management skills, because that was something that I was really poor at. And they really drilled into me how to look at each question and analyze it in the most efficient way. They would leave the room for 10 minutes and come back, and I would have a certain number that I would have to finish. So it was almost like test sprinting in intervals. And so that's one of the things that they really helped me with. I was incredibly excited and relieved. The day that I found out, I didn't know that they were releasing the status update. And so when my parents told me, we looked, and we saw that I had been accepted, and my house erupted. It was crazy. And I think it was, I wouldn't say a surprise, because I was really hoping that I had the qualifications to get in, but it really struck me because I personally don't think that I fit the mold of a stereotypical Stanford student, because I guess the stereotype is if you want to get into Stanford, you got to cure cancer or be a Nobel laureate or something like that. And in high school, I did like improv. That's my things. And I'm not a STEM person. I'm not a big computer science guy. I'm more of a humanities guy. But then I'm realizing that Stanford is looking to build a class of different people, and I think I'm an artist, and I like to make films, and I do theater and things like that. And so I think I was an interesting mix, an interesting flavor to throw into the pot, and that I was really excited to be able to join such a voracious amount of education and educators. I'm very much interested in human behavior and the humanities. And so I would be really interested in studying something like microeconomics or psychology, and seeing what makes humans do what they do. And I'm fascinated by that. But I'm also open. I know enough to know that there's a lot of things that I haven't been exposed to yet. And so I'd like to try many different things, and who knows, maybe I'll fall in love with public policy or international affairs or political science. And so I'm really looking forward to exploring. For me specifically, the importance of education is really about making me a more well-rounded human being, I think. It really helps me form a sense of empathy through intercultural understanding and interdisciplinary learning. I'm able to see things through different perspectives, and I'm able to analyze areas of the world in which I might never get exposed to without education. And I think the right approach does a fantastic job at allowing students to explore things that they're fascinated about in a kind, nurturing environment, while adhering to the students' needs.